College is more than a place. It's a journey. Welcome to the Two Night Show, where we explore the moments and ideas that shape us and the impact we make through conversations with Green Knights and other inspiring voices. St. Norbert College has had two alumni serve in Congress, the late Father Robert John Cornell and now Congressman Tony Wied. Listen in as we get to know Tony the Green Knight, the local business owner, and the U.S. representative for Wisconsin's 8th Congressional District. Congressman Wied, thank you so much for coming back to campus. You just had lunch here. You walked through campus. Some memories coming back for you?
Oh, it's great to be back at St. Norbert College. Just fond memories. I went to school here in the mid to late 90s.
Yeah.
Graduated in 1998. I met my wife, Angela, here my junior year. And, we live in the area. We live in Pere and do come through often, walk through campus. And but just to be here today and go through some of the buildings that we were at and to see some of the new buildings and some of the changes, and then to have lunch in an amazing, I don't know if they're still called cafeterias, but
yeah, cafeteria is great.
Yeah, but it was great. And it was great when we were here. But now I can see why it's ranked in the top 5.
Awesome.
I think it's ranked in the top 5 in the country.
It is,
so
yes. Yep.
It was very, very good. So I had a hamburger.
Oh, wonderful, awesome. Wonderful. You can't go wrong with a hamburger.
No.
So you said you went to St. Norbert. We know that. But you grew up in the area. Can you talk a little bit about your upbringing and then what kind of led you to want to come to St. Norbert?
I never left this area. I was born actually in Lincoln, Nebraska. My parents are from Green Bay, and their parents grew up here. And my dad was able to get a scholarship to play football in the early 70s. So and my mom and dad got married right out of high school. And so they went to school from 71 to 1976. I was born there last year. So I was born actually in Lincoln, Nebraska, but within a few months we came to Green Bay.
Okay.
And so I've been here my entire life. I grew up in Ashwaubenon, which is very close to campus, and went to public schools through 8th grade. I love sports. I played hockey and football and a bunch of other sports when I was younger, but I really loved hockey and football.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a professional hockey player. Of course, that didn't work out.
It's really hard.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult. But, that was always my dream. And but, I just wasn't as good at it, obviously, as I needed to be. But then I went to Notre Dame Academy. And I just felt it was the right thing for me at that time to go to Notre Dame. I liked the faith aspect of it and the Catholic aspect. And then I wound up at St. Norbert. And I say wound up because I don't know that I necessarily had a plan. I was a senior in high school, and you just do the best you can. But for me, it was a blessing to be on campus here at St. Norbert College, and I really enjoyed my time.
Now, what was your major, and what did you in college? What did you want to do with that?
So I played football, and so which was great. I liked the team aspect of it, and it was just a great way to meet people. Really enjoyed my time playing football. And I was entrepreneurial when I was younger. My parents had a small business, and so I grew up with them, and they were in the snowmobile parts business, which is kind of a unique business. It was kind of a niche business. And so I grew up doing that and working there. But I always liked the spirit of business, and I just wanted to be an entrepreneur. And I didn't know what exactly, but I decided to get into and was in the business school. So I spent a lot of time at Coffran, and I just really enjoyed my time.
Very
at the business
nice.
School.
And then you went on to become a small business owner. Can you tell us about that?
So, like I said, my parents were in the snowmobile business and sold used snowmobile parts and new parts, mail order. Back then, you could fix your snowmobiles, and so they would sell parts to people, and they could kind of fix their own. And that's changed. That business has changed, just like a lot of businesses. They evolve. But then they were also got into the convenience store business, and I joined in 1998 when I graduated from St. Norbert, and it was kind of a newer business. Convenience stores were just kind of becoming a little more popular, where you were not only had gas outside, but you were starting to sell things inside, like snacks and drinks and and things like that, and then getting into food and that sort of thing. So it was kind of in its infancy. Convenience stores now, of course, we see them in this area. You see places like Quick Trip and some of the really larger convenience stores that are doing really well. But that's what I wanted to do, and we went all in, and it was a really good a good place to work for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So interesting. Okay, so many people know you as Congressman Tony Wied. What led you then from small business owner to want to have a career in public service?
That is a great question, and I get asked that a lot. You know, my wife and I we raised 4 children right in Pere, which is an amazing place to raise kids.
4 boys, God bless you.
4 boys within 5 years. So we had a small business and 4 kids under the age of 5 at one point, which was really in our late 20s and early 30s. So, and our business was 7 days a week. And because we were open 24 hours a day at every one. So there was always something to do. You're pretty much on the clock every single day with your business. And of course, my number one priority was always to be a good husband and to be a good father. But it was a lot. And it was a very, very busy, 20s and 30s. And the business evolved. It started out well. There was a lot of challenges in our business. One of them being other businesses that came in, like Quick Trip and competitors, things that you didn't prepare for. That were very, very challenging. So went through quite a bit of good. There's plenty of really, really tough times where we didn't think we'd even make it in our business. But what we continue to do is just keep going, don't give up, and just take it day by day. There were certain times. But we had the good opportunity, and it was an amazing opportunity, and feel very blessed to sell our business in 2022.
Okay.
We just came out of the COVID pandemic, and there was a ton of uncertainty through that time, as for everybody, and so we came out of that, but then had a good opportunity to sell it. Now, I didn't think we'd ever be able to. There was times where I didn't think it was worth anything, but it just ended up very, very well, and felt very, very blessed. So there we were in an opportunity, raised our children. Our youngest is going off to school, to college, and we sold our business. And 48 years old, I didn't know what was next in life. And ultimately, I don't think we really are in control. I think God is ultimately in control, and really just opened myself up and took a year and prayed on what it is I'm supposed to do. What do you want me to do? And of course, nothing came, and months go by, and then I'm getting mad. I'm like, well, what is it? What am I supposed to do? And I've always loved our country. My grandpa served in World War II, and he didn't talk about his time in service, but very proud of our country. He'd always stand up for the national anthem, even when we were at home, if it was just playing on TV, like during a Cubs game or something like that. But so I've just always loved it, and I love politics. I think politics is, for me, it's the best sport. I love team sports. I love football, hockey, and watching other sports, and I love playing them. But to me, politics was always a sport. I loved watching it. I liked observing it. I studied it. I love our Constitution. I love the way our government runs, for the most part. I don't always love the way the government runs, but I mean, I just really, So once we open yourself up and say, look, what am I supposed to do? I don't really care, about what it is. Just tell me. And the opportunity came. The previous congressman just abruptly decided in February of 2024. So I had about a little over a year of not working. And he just abruptly said, hey, I'm not going to run for my next term. And in the House of Representatives, they're 2-year terms. And so when I heard that, I was with my wife, and I knew right then and there, that's it. That's my sign. I'm going to do that.
That was sometimes God, you ask for a sign, and God slaps you in the face. I feel like that might be one of those times. It's like, totally. Holy cow. Wow.
And I made that intention, and I think my wife was very surprised, although not really, because she knew, I loved everything about the politics in our country and things like that. So there I was in a situation where I made the intention. I just said, I'm doing it, because that's clearly my sign.
Wow.
But then I didn't know how to do it.
Sure.
So I didn't really know anybody in politics. I'd never really even met a politician, actually.
Yeah, where do you start?
Other than I studied on TV and things like that. So yeah, it was a defining moment for sure at 48 years old.
That's really interesting. I feel like that's something that a lot of people might not know too about the whole experience and how someone comes to want to start running for an election. We actually had Jackson Thiel, one of your former interns, on the show.
I love Jackson, yeah.
He's so great. He just graduated and now he's at Marquette in law school. And it's so interesting to see someone start their career and start that journey to public service. And it's so inspiring at the same time because you see the end product on TV, but as constituents, you don't see the beginning stages. So it's really nice to hear that story.
And Jackson is somebody that applied to work on my campaign. And I'd never met him before and just did an amazing job. And when you work on a campaign, you're really knocking doors. You're out, promoting the candidate that you work for. And there he was promoting me for Congress, someone from the outside. No one's ever even heard of me. And so he went through that the whole campaign, did an amazing job, and then ended up interning in our congressional office here in Pere, and is just an amazing young man with a very, very bright future. And it was just an honor to have him on our team for sure.
We're thankful to know him. Yes, he's
and
wonderful.
We saw his son, a picture of him right when we walked into the Aaron Center.
Yes,
which was great.
Yes.
So I took a picture in front of it.
Yes, he has a legacy here. Let's just say that.
Good. I believe it.
So you are almost a year in. You were officially elected in November of 2024. I know this is a pretty complex question, but what has it been like since you were first elected?
So when I announced I decided in February of 24, I announced, you have to announce that you're running
Sure.
For Congress. And so I did that in April of 24. And then you go through a very difficult, it was a primary. You have to go through a primary election, and that election was in August. So it was very difficult because I'm learning. It's like starting, really, I feel like it was starting like a new business.
Yeah. Or
maybe even two businesses. And but that experience, as difficult as it was, and things that I didn't think would happen. You run you want to be in Congress, and then all of a sudden you look on TV and there's negative ads running against you, and saying things that aren't true, and you're like, oh my gosh, where did that come from? But that's just the way, politics are. I don't choose to do that, attacking people personally, and I didn't, and I just don't do that in general. But that's that's to me was the cost of doing business.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to take on the burdens of doing things and achieving. And I think that was just one of those costs. But that was really helpful to go through because of, like anything in life, when you go through difficult times, and we all do, and difficult times, they can continue, but you just continue to persevere and you work through it. And that's just, I think that's what God wants us to do. That's God's plan. And but going through that and then going through the general election, but you just learn a lot about the system. And then I got sworn in literally a week after I got elected because I was fulfilling. Because the previous congressman left early, so I literally I was in Washington D.C. a week later. So November 12th, I am there with my family and some close friends, and we walk onto the House floor, which I've never been to Washington, D.C. I mean, I went to Washington, D.C. once, but I didn't go to the Capitol.
Okay.
But I mean, here I am. I'm walking onto the floor, and they swear me in, and then I have to give a speech. I shouldn't say have to. I get to give a speech.
Yes,
right?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, what an honor. But so there I am addressing the entire Congress, and but it was just everything at once, and but it was amazing for sure. And the biggest takeaway right now, you just have to learn. You have to adapt. It'd be like getting dropped into I don't know. Let's say you're a sophomore in high school, and parents say, hey, we're moving across town, and then they just drop you off at the high school, and there you go, figure it out. You don't even know where the bathroom is. So that's really what it felt like in getting in there. But fortunately, I had experience in hiring teams and leading teams, and I've had just a lot of practice doing that. We were able to put together, I think, an amazing world-class team to support our efforts in the House of Representatives. So it's been an amazing experience. I'm a little shy of a year being in the position, but it's definitely been very rewarding, and it's just an honor to do it.
Absolutely. What's the biggest surprise that you've experienced, whether that's like in Congress or being in Washington as a whole?
There's a lot of surprises, a lot of new.
Yes.
You're experiencing new things, meeting new people, but just being involved in the federal government, meeting and working with the president and vice president and their cabinet, working with others in the House of Representatives, meeting senators, those types of things.
So many names that you have to remember.
Oh, exactly. The name. I mean, I have face cards. So,
oh my gosh.
Like when you were a kid, you had like flashcards, or in college I used it too. But so I'd have their picture, and then their name, and so I'd go home every night, and just study. And if I met somebody, I'd be like, oh, and so that is a very because there's 435 members in the House of Representatives. So just try to remember everybody's name. But I would say one of the takeaways, and I just I'm an optimistic person by nature, but is that I think people have this perception of Congress as a whole, and it can be negative. I think people are generally, frustrated with Congress. Maybe they think they should do more, or, do things the way they, everyone has a different opinion, and that's what's great about our country. But as you go in there, you may disagree. There's so many times where I meet a person. And when I got there, Speaker Johnson, who's the leader of the House of Representatives, he's the Speaker of the House, he said to me, get to know people, get to know their names, get to know their spouses' names, and if they have children, get to know their children's name, because then you're not going to hate them. And I just
it humanizes people.
It humanizes. That was his direction, and I don't hate people by nature. You may not like what they do, and you hate their actions, but I just feel like I feel really optimistic because I know so many people. I'm a Republican, but meeting people that are Democrats. And at this day and age, you'd think, well, they're a Democrat, so you must not like them. Or, if you're a Democrat, you say, well, Republicans, you must not like them. But when you meet the person, and I might work out with somebody in a small group, and it's mostly Democrats in it, or, you get to know people, people are they're great. And I think the majority of folks there are trying to do the right thing, good people. They might be married, they might have boyfriend, girlfriend, kids, whatever, but there's that human aspect of it. And I think from an individual nature, that's been the most surprising thing, because I was concerned. I thought, oh, this is going to be, Congress, and you just didn't know.
Right.
But I just generally am very impressed with, and again, I don't necessarily like the way everybody acts.
Sure.
That sort of thing, but it's been very good experience that way with the people that I've met.
That's good insight. You serve and you were elected by the people of the 8th District of Wisconsin. At heart, you're a Wisconsin person. Like you said, you spent your entire life here. How do you feel that the experiences and values that you have grown up with here in Wisconsin, because we're a Midwest state and we have that Midwest aura about us. How do you feel that has helped you move into your role as a congressman?
Yeah, I call it Wisconsin nice.
Yeah.
And when you're in Washington, they call it Midwest nice. So,
Yep.
People from Wisconsin, we're a little bit different,
yes.
or even Minnesota, or our adjoining states, Michigan. And I think we're just. It's when you're here, if you're walking by somebody, you say hello, you make eye contact, and hey, how's it going? And there's just that just common sense approach, especially to Northeast Wisconsin. I'm biased, but I think Northeast Wisconsin's the best place to live. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. I've never lived anywhere else. But now living a couple of days, at least 3 nights a week or 4 nights a week in the East Coast in Washington, D.C., this is just such a great group. And, growing up Catholic and, involved in parish and at Notre Dame and St. Norbert, it's just, we're just very blessed to live here. And I think that means a lot. And that's who I represent.
Yes.
And I'm representing a lot of rural America.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
We have Green Bay, Appleton, but a lot of it is smaller towns. And it's just they're the best places to be. And it's just great seeing the communities, people working together, working on making sure their schools are in good shape in their local cities. But it's just been a really positive experience.
That's wonderful. To kind of piggyback off that last question, at the heart and core of St. Norbert is to provide an educational experience that promotes us to honor God, to serve humanity, and to truly care for everyone. How do you feel that the values that you experienced here at SNC has carried forth, and maybe not just your public service, but also your life as a whole?
It's foundational.
Yeah.
And, coming from, the Norbertines, we have Notre Dame and the high school, Notre Dame Academy, and then St. Norbert College. The values and the people that you're around, the community, just really it was instrumental. And I don't know that I appreciated it at the time.
Sure.
For whatever reason, I was called to attend St. Norbert. But I say that because I know I was called, that I was very blessed to be able to attend St. Norbert. I don't think I could have articulated it at the time why I was at St. Norbert.
Like you said, it's God's plan.
I think it is. I mean, I know it is because I just believe that. But it was just and it has been such a big part of our life and, and our values and what's important to us. And, you're here to serve God. And I chose to, get married and have children. And that was always my priority. Doesn't mean I was perfect and nobody is, but you just continue to, evolve and continue to learn and just know that ultimately God has the plan and you're here to fulfill and serve. So
Absolutely. So I'm curious, as you talk to constituents across the area, more specifically maybe like high school and college age students, what do you feel like are their biggest concerns about, whether that's Northeast Wisconsin or whatever, what do they talk to you about?
The issues are many, and they're wide-ranging, and sometimes it depends on age. Yeah, if you have folks that are a little bit older and closer to the retirement age,
Sure.
Some of those concerns are going to lean into the economy, their checkbook, and,
Sure.
and just making sure that that's going well, and then as it relates to Medicare, Social Security. And, those types of things.
Those more adult situations that you have to,
like, hey, I paid into this.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that that's solvent. And that's my goal. And that's what we're going to do is continue to make sure that we're, making sure that those programs continue because they earned it. They deserve it. And that's what we as a country decided to do. And then they wide range. I think, as you get into the younger generation, I have so much hope. And I think that our younger generation is so incredibly bright, whether that's, high school and before, but also, looking at college age. And I just see people more engaged, getting more active. I think it's important that kids in college are able to speak freely. Of course, always be good to each other and be respectful. But, if you are a young conservative in college, that has been difficult for some in different universities and colleges throughout the country, that they feel like they might be offending someone just by saying they're conservative. And I think that's not obviously very good. That has to change. But I'm starting to see, hey, look, you can say it, you just be good to each other, but you should be able to start having debate and where you can shake hands after. And it's okay to have discussions and not agree maybe on anything. But just say, hey, look, and still be able to go have a coffee with them or still be friends. And
Yes.
I think that's going to be where our younger generation is going to help, bring that to the forefront because I think it really needs to. It's very polarizing right now. And I feel that. I think, there are people that, hey, look, I had a woman say, hey, look, we're not on the same team. And I said, what, you're not American? We're both American. We may not agree, and maybe you're Democrat. You didn't vote for me, but that's okay.
Right.
You have every right to do that. Let's talk about a few of the issues. Maybe we don't agree, and you don't like my position, and that's okay. But in this, the way it's set up in our country, and being a constitutional republic, is that I have the majority of the votes in this congressional district in the last election. But there's 40% that don't agree,
Right,
and didn't
right.
vote for you. But
Yep.
and I think that's okay. I
Yes.
think people have and that's what makes it great. And you should be able to have that dialogue. But I think the younger generation is doing a good job of that, and hopefully we keep that momentum.
Absolutely. Since you've been in Congress, have you had an aha moment, so to say, like where whether you were maybe working back here with your team, whether you were working among other Congress members, have you ever had like that aha moment working on policies, whatever it might be?
Part of our job is helping constituents, the people the 750,000 approximate people that I
Just
represent.
A few.
So we do a lot of work for folks that maybe need help with immigration or IRS issues or veterans affairs and those types of things. But our team here, I have a team here in De Pere.
Yep.
We have an office and a great team, and we have a team in DC. But one time I came back and our team in De Pere had a cork board up, and we call it the thank you wall, and it was just full of thank yous.
Oh.
And when you're in this, you do hear, people are upset maybe with how things are going, and you get a lot of compliments and or advice and things like that. So which is good, the free exchange of information and ideas, but seeing the work that we do here, helping people get the Veterans Administration services they deserve. Maybe they're having an issue. They're like, look, we can't get through, or we can't get the health care for my husband.
Sure.
And they come in and we say, well, we help them and get them the services they need. Or help someone with immigration, help them get that final process to have a work permit to start working. And so the thank you wall is growing, and we're already at 2 big cork boards, and I think that is it really hit me.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
There's a lot of really positive things, and that's our job as a representative of people and representing the 750,000 people to help and serve.
Absolutely. It can be a thankless job. Sometimes public service.
It could, but you'd be surprised the amount of people that do say thank you.
That's wonderful.
Which is great. That's not why I do it.
Right.
I don't need motivation. I think, motivation can be good, but I think motivation's temporary. You have to have a purpose, and you have to have a calling, and I feel obligated. So I feel obligated to serve and to do the right thing. It's not always, it's messy. It's, the legislative process is messy. It's kind of meant to be, and messier and slower when the House of Representatives. But at the end of the day, job is to be a leader and to try to find the truth and to do the right thing. And so at the end of the day, it's not about the thank yous, although they're great, but you're just here to truly serve, and that's what really keeps you going.
Wonderful. So we've gotten to know Tony. We've gotten to know Congressman Wied at the same time. We want to get to know Tony as an individual a little bit more. So we're going to have our lightning round now.
All right.
We like to keep this under a minute, but no one follows that rule. So don't feel pressure at all.
One-word answers?
Kind of, yeah. That's the ideal, but feel free to answer however you'd like. Okay, are you ready, Tom? Okay. Your favorite Wisconsin supper club food?
Let me think here. There's so many.
I was going to say there's so many.
I'll get to the next one.
Okay. If you weren't in Congress, what do you think you'd be doing right now?
I would be a teacher.
Oh, teaching what?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think probably history.
Okay, that makes sense.
Or history, like something to do with civics,
Okay.
which is like the Constitution, or business.
Okay.
I would love to get into, something like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Your favorite spot in Wisconsin to just relax?
I got to go with Door County. It's not that I don't love the other counties in my district, but Door County is
It's
a very
special.
special place, and the Great Lakes are amazing.
Agreed.
I love Door County.
Agreed. Your biggest role model or mentor?
I would say probably my mom and dad. I'd say it's a combo.
Yeah.
Yeah, between the both of them. They were a good fit, different.
Yeah.
And they were definitely a big impact.
A good team.
Yeah.
What's the most Wisconsin thing about you?
Oh, probably my accent. I think I have an accent that people laugh at whenever I'm in a different area of the country. But yeah, I talk like, I'm from here.
Yeah.
So I talk like that. But I love cheese curds. I just love a cheese. Yeah,
Who doesn't love a good cheese? Oh, wait, fried or non-fried?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, for
Got
sure.
it.
Both.
Now, going back to my first question, favorite supper club food?
Supper club for like a Friday fish fry.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many. It's just hard to pick because I've like been to so many, but I would say the Redwood.
Okay.
Which is in Ledgeview.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you like the fish fry there?
Yeah, it's really good. And
awesome.
It's perfect. You go in, you kind of sit at the bar.
Yeah.
You know, for a little bit.
Yep.
And good old fashions, and then you can kind of move over to your table.
Is there a salad bar there?
No.
Okay. No. All right.
Which is good.
You don't like the salad bar?
Necessarily, yeah.
Okay. Well then.
But I think there's been so many supper clubs that I've been to, and there's so many great ones. I hate to not pick one of them, but
there are. That's one of the things we're known for, right?
Yeah.
So you can't go wrong.
And our old fashions are, I think, a little different than others around the country. So
I've heard. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so something unique to this podcast is we have a Bible verse of the episode, every episode. This one I picked, and once I read it, I'd love to get your feedback on how it resonates with you. So it's Mark chapter 10, verse 45. It reads, "For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many."
I think just the impact that all of us are called, and all of us are, I think it's important to know that you are enough as a person, and ultimately you're here to serve, and to serve God, and He'll guide you where you need to be. And it may not always be where you want, but I think that's what's most important in understanding that. But every day knowing you're enough, and just doing the best that you possibly can, and living out your mission, which is ultimately to serve God.
That's very well said. Actually, in closing, I've got a few questions for you, but one of those questions was if you could have like a mission value statement, what would it be for you as a person?
I think, like I was just saying there, I think ultimately we are here to serve. And serving people, serving others, in ultimately, taking good care of yourself. But I think serving God, and ultimately that's my mission, and I think that's a very something that I learned through St. Norbert. I learned through my Catholic faith, and I think that's ultimately the truth.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Like you said, you are in De Pere, and then you are also in Washington. If people want to get a hold of your office, what's the best way for them to do that?
So it's really easy now. You just go look up wied.house.gov.
Okay.
And it's I before E, so WIED, .house.gov. And it'll show you the number for our De Pere office, also the phone number for our office in D.C., and of course you can write into and submit inquiries that way. But one thing that we will continue to look for, and St. Norbert has been very good to us this way, is internships.
Yes.
And we mentioned Jackson, and we've had others from St. Norbert that have been amazing. And I think if anyone's interested in politics at all, or wants to learn about the House of Representatives, learn about the government, we would love to have you and would encourage you to apply. And we'll be flexible. We'll work around your schedule and that sort of thing. But it's been a very positive experience for those that have been here already.
Wonderful. And what a great opportunity to learn not just about politics, but to learn about the government. Thank you for mentioning that. That's wonderful. And then also I want to make sure that people know to follow you along social media if they want to see what's going on. And that's the beauty of today's day and age with social media. So
yeah, that is a great way to communicate. And that's also on our wied.house.gov. It
Perfect.
shows all of our X and Facebook and Instagram.
Wonderful. Okay, well, Congressman Wied, thank you so much for coming on the show. Welcome back to campus, and we want to thank you guys for listening.
Well, thank you, and thanks for all you do for St. Norbert.
Absolutely.